Micheline from Micheline Makes here. I've just put up a vlog about our afternoon tea at Lumley Castle, and I've had some good responses from you. And I've also, I was up early this morning. Well, let's say I wasn't up. I woke up at 3 o'clock, couldn't get to sleep, so by 4 o'clock I just thought, oh, I'm going to get up. So I got up at 4 o'clock and I came in here, made myself a coffee, came in here in my pyjamas and did a vlog. And so that's yet to come to you. And then what else did I do? I've done another vlog this afternoon, and I've got some spits and spots of vlogs that I need to put together. I need to find the time to put together. Anyway, I thought I'd do a quick Q&A from people. I have read every single comment that you've made over the past 2 or 3 vlogs, but I usually do it in bed. As I keep saying, I do it in bed, and I'm kind of on my head's on the pillow, and I've got this resting against a piece at the corner of my bedside table, so it doesn't fall off. And I read them. And I think, oh, I'll answer that tomorrow, and I never get around to answering it. And then I start getting tired, so I think, oh, put the phone away. Oh, here he is. Here's the man with a plan.
Who are you talking to?
Talking to all those ladies. The ones that say that you make them laugh. Look at, he's been in the right state.
I've been putting together some IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
Now, anybody that knows anything about IKEA furniture will understand the frustration of IKEA instructions.
He's got a desk, which was a perfectly good desk.
No, it wasn't. It's falling apart.
He put it together the wrong way, so it's falling apart.
No, you're making that up. I did not put it together the wrong way.
You said you did.
I didn't.
All right. Anyway, so he's assembling another desk. But he's doing it on a very, very hot day, and it's going to get hotter. And I think you're clearing out your music room, are you?
Well, I am. And I came down to tell you that I've put my speakers, I've got some studio speakers, right, that I play all my stuff on. And they're in a new position now. They're higher up, and instead of being flat onto me.
Oh, and then the very top shelf of your desk.
They're at corners like this.
So you can listen to his music.
And you know, the sound is tons better.
Well, you should know that. You should know that because you do a lot of music and sound and stuff.
Why, but no. Well, I do music through a PA system, and all you do is aim the speakers at the audience, basically.
Anyway, what did you come in to tell me?
I was coming to tell you about how much better the sound was.
Ah, right.
In the new situation.
Right.
There you are.
He asked me to come up and have a look at his new desk, and I went up and I was starting to be a little bit constructive, and he said, right, that's it, you can go.
Now, well, you see.
No, I said, it's time you tidied up. In the same way exactly. You should see the state of this place. It's time I tidied up as well.
No, don't listen to her. Listen to me.
Right.
So, my room is half the size of Micheline's room. And in my room, I've got quite a lot of stuff, because there's like guitars,
every time I see a cable, I dump it in his room.
You know, CDs, you name it. There's loads of stuff, but it's kind of all sorted out. But whenever Micheline comes into my room, she looks around and starts telling me where to put everything. So I have to remind her that in all the years...
Do you notice the phone wobbles, the camera wobbles when you do that?
I'm touching
my arm and I'm holding it up.
I'm tapping her arm. What? And I come in here, the sewing thing.
I've got computers here, I've got printers there, I've got sewing machines.
To my eyes,
it's a tip.
It looks chaotic.
It is chaotic.
Shim, you don't have to say anything. Shush. It looks chaotic, but I never say, well, look, why don't you put those over there?
Well, you should.
And if you put those up there, that would look tidy.
He did once say, do you want me to help you tidy up your shed? And I said, no, get out. I'll do it myself, because I know what he says. Say, what are you doing with that? Why have you got that? Why you got this?
Because she's brilliant.
I'm not. You think I am?
I know you are.
Anyway.
What? Can I go now?
You can go now, yes.
Bye.
Bye. Leave the door open like that. Let some fresh air in. It's pretty warm. Anyway, I've moved you from there to
Jim,
yeah.
That's not a door. It's a jar.
So I do read your messages, but I haven't got round to answering them. And I thought I would read what some people have said. And I'm just going to start at the top with because the afternoon tea. I'm going to start with the newest one, which was the afternoon tea. And I'll work my way down. Some things I've answered and some things I haven't. And the first one I read is from Pam3, who said, "That takes me back. We went a few times to the medieval banquets at Lumley Castle in the 70s for work dues. They used to pick a couple to be lord and lady for the evening, and they would be treated as VIPs. I can't remember that, but I think you may be right. Best night was when there was a party of Belgian paratroopers in best night was when there was a party of Belgian paratroopers in there. Wow, gorgeous men. I was only 20 but newly engaged, so I had a few dances with them, and that was it. My niece went to a medieval night over Durham a few years ago," and it says read more. So what does it say then? "Might have been there. I made her a medieval dress. Loved making it. Had lovely long sleeves, no zip, but laced up the back. I made it from some old velvet curtains plus a matching drawstring bag." Now I think it probably would be, because when we were going up the drive I noticed on the sign it said Elizabethan Nights, so I think they still do it. It's a lovely hotel. I've had mixed comments about it, because when we walked through, the courtyard, and the courtyard was like a narrow bit you had to walk through. And actually, there's somebody said, "Oh, I got a shock when I came to 6 minutes and 7 on your video." So I'm going to have to look and stop you and see what 6 minutes and 7 was. But when we went through into the courtyard, there were some houses on the left, like what looked like holiday cottages, and they had hanging baskets on the outside. I didn't get a good picture of it because I realised that the camera was jumping around and it wasn't really good, so I had to cut that video really back, because there was, when I played it back to his lordship, he said, "You can't put that up, you can't put that up." So I put up what I could. But anyway, there were some cottages, but John and Barbara, who you know are our friends, they were saying their next door neighbour went to Lumley Castle a couple of times, and the first time they enjoyed it, they thought the rooms were lovely. The second time they said the room wasn't that great, so it might depend on what rooms you're in. But there was a sign saying, "Don't expect these places, the rooms to be perfect, because it is a medieval castle." And so the floors are like that, and the cupboards and wardrobes are all very old, a bit like that place that we stopped in Lyme Regis, where the floor creaked. But it was a lovely place, we enjoyed it. Lisa Ann Spencer said, "Lovely, would you do it again? Your dress was perfect for such a pretty day." Would I do it again? We looked at the menu and we were quite shocked at the price, and then we looked up Virgin Experience days, and it was actually a little bit cheaper doing a Virgin Experience day than it was going and paying for it yourself. But we did think it was very nice and very because we probably won't go on many holidays. That is our little cruise. That was a little cruise for us. And he said, "Would you like to do this again?" And I said, it'd be quite nice, but you know, let's try another place. And on these, when I looked on my phone, there are lots of Virgin Experience afternoon teas in different places. Quite a lot are in London. I don't know that I'd be bothered to go down to London, simply for the fact that when we first met, we went down to London and we were younger. We were just almost becoming 50. And we could walk around London fairly easily. He made me walk for miles and miles and miles. But the thought of, I keep saying to him, I'd love to go back and do what we did last time. But then I suddenly go, maybe it's not. I don't know that I want to walk around London in the heat 20 years later, I don't know if I could manage it. So, but there are some other places where you can have afternoon tea. So he said he'd like to go back to Lumley Castle again. So you never know, he might treat me. You never know. Anyway, the next one was BB Beverly said, your dress looked lovely. I loved the fabric. The castle and afternoon tea looked amazing. Was thoughtful of your daughter to treat you. Thank you for sharing. Regards, Sandy. My 2 children have taken to giving us, rather than presents, they sometimes treat us to something like that. My son has given, we've actually got one from him, and we've already done one before with him, and it's a wine tasting experience. So we've done one with him a good few years ago, before he had kids, and he's given us another one. Can you see a little ladyship there? I don't know where she's going. So we'd like to go and do that. We're going to go and do that, but they think there's more memories of doing something like that than giving us a gift. And to be fair, we keep saying don't get us anything because we've got everything. My mum used to say the same thing. Don't get us anything because we've got nothing we want. So yes, I thought it was lovely. Anyway, who's next? Doris Castlunga said, thanks Micheline for taking us along. What a wonderful treat. Love the Lacala dress on you. It looks so amazing that I really have to try that pattern. I haven't made a dress in years. Thanks for all your great vlogs. And yes, it was one of my favourite dresses. I made it, I think, last year. I think it was last summer, and I'm not sure if I made 2 or 3. I made a red one as well, I think. I made that one and a red one. And I would have worn the red one, but the red one needed ironing. And I've had a pile of ironing. We've been so busy with eBay orders and him with the company that he's working for until September. And this washing pile is getting higher and higher. And I keep doing so many, and it gets down and then it goes back up again. So I will get that sort done, but it was a lovely it's a lovely red dress. You've seen it before. What else is there? Doris says, I've never made a dress in years. Well, do you know, Doris, I've made quite a few dresses lately, and I just keep thinking to myself, I'm going to start wearing the dress every now and again. I do, you know, you see, when I go out, I see women in dresses, and a lot of people do wear dresses, and I figured, you know, why not? Let me wear a dress now and again. Deb Cobb said, I love history, and the castle was very interesting. I noticed the road signs as you were leaving and saw that one said, give way. And it made me curious. Here in the States, we have a yellow line, yellow with black lettering. Is the give way the same as the yield sign? Yes, it is, Deb. That is the same as the yield sign. Basically, if it's give way, it means you've got to give way to the people who are coming on whatever road if you're turning right, you give way to the other people. It's a triangle, as you say, it's a triangle, and it says give way. Yes, so it is the same as a yield sign. Somebody else asked me a question. I can't remember who it was. If I have time when I go down to it and I come across her name, I'll put it up here. But she said, when we did the picture of us, a little bit of video of us being in the services, and I was tasting that melon with a lime on. She said, "What's a services?" Now, a services is, I think you would call them pit stops. We call them services. Usually they're off on the side of a motorway. We have motorways, which are the main roads, and you can't stop on a motorway. The only place you can stop are in the services. The only way you could stop on the motorway is if you broke down. But any other intention of stopping, you have to drive. They're every 20 miles or 30 miles, and you drive into them. And there's a restaurant, there's a cafe, there's McDonald's, there's takeaway, there's a shop. There's toilets, there's drinks, there's a garage for petrol and everything. But the Leicester Services is a modern one, and it's a great big massive one with a Marks and Spencer's. It's got different shops. It's basically like a big open place, and you have all these shops around on either side. I must film it for you one time, because we will be going down another time to pick up the dog in October, so I'll film it then. And you can go right through to the back where there's glass doors and there's that lake and there's the grass, grassy area with tables outside. And a lot of people not many people know about it because they tend to stay in the front. But we discovered it and we think it's lovely. So we often go, when we go there, we go right through the back and sit at the back. Janice Folks says, beautiful photography, so green. It is. We've had some glorious weather. We have had very hot weather by our standards. It might not be by yours. Today's 24 degrees and that's unbearable. We've just had news on the news telling us that next week it's going to be in the 30s or 40s, and be ready for anything because we are not used to it. I mean, the most we generally have is 22, 23 degrees. So 24 that's the top of our limit, and it's actually going higher than that. So the grass, I noticed as we were driving up, I said to his lordship, I said, everything is beautifully green, and it's because we've been having the sunshine. England is very well known for its changeable weather, and the English are very well known for talking about the weather. And you go and so when you walk into a shop, you say, oh, it's a lovely day today, isn't it? Or you say, oh, that rain is really annoying, isn't it cold? Or isn't it cold? Oh, it's cold today. The French don't talk about the weather because the French always get good weather. But the English, as I've said to you before, in a day you can get bright sunshine, you can get pouring rain, you can even get snow sometimes. So it's very changeable. And of course we've had sunshine, really beautiful sunshine, and we've had a lot of rain. We've had downpours, and it's actually made everything go greener. And the other day I did notice, well, we went up today to IKEA, and on the way up, which is 25 miles up to Newcastle, we noticed, well, I noticed that the corn is gorgeous and yellow, and I've never seen it as yellow as that in July. Usually it's around about the end of July, beginning of August, but the fields are really yellow. They're ready to be cut, and I think we're going to have good crops. Now then, Janice K said, you both look so nice in your glad rags. Yes, he wore a shirt. He's been wearing a shirt these past couple of times, and I said, oh, you actually look lovely in that shirt. You should wear them more often. So I think he started wearing shirts, although he was in his t-shirt there. But I said, I'll have to make you some shirts, because he doesn't like, he likes weird and wacky ones. He really likes a weird and wacky shirt. In fact, he's so weird and wacky, if you tell him not to wear something, he will put it on. And I must show you the picture. Oh, here she comes again. I must show you a picture that his son sent for his Father's Day. And it's a picture of his lordship wearing a straw hat and two items of garments of clothing that clashed badly. In fact, I'll show you them. That's up there. And what happened was, before my father died, somebody gave him two shirts that were like Hawaiian shirts. One was bright yellow and one was bright blue. And he liked the bright blue one, but he didn't like the yellow one. So he asked his lordship, he said, would you like my yellow shirt? And his lordship said, oh yes, I would like that. So he got this bright yellow shirt, and I'm thinking, God, that's awful. It's gaudy, it's awful. And he loved it. He loved it because it was bright yellow. He loved it because nobody liked it. And he loved it because his father-in-law had given him it. And he wore it. We went to France, and we're walking around this rather nice town in France, and he had a straw hat on and this shirt, and probably, I think because it was bright yellow, he had a navy blue pair of shorts on. And we walked into a second-hand clothes shop. I like looking at second-hand clothes. And we walked into this second-hand clothes shop, and he saw this orange pair of shorts. And he said, oh, I've got to have those. And I went, oh my goodness me, you're not getting those. Tell me you are not getting those. And he says, yeah, I'm getting them. And what was worse was he decided there and then he had to put the shorts on. So he wanted to go to a gentleman's toilet, went to the toilet, changed into them, and came out. And we were with friends there, and we all went, oh no. Oh, he looked just like a drug baron. Sorry, I just had a tickle in my throat and I started coughing. I'm nearly, my eyes are watering. He looked like, you could say a drug baron, but then I don't even think a drug baron would I don't even think a drug baron would dress like that, because he stood out so badly, and he looked so weird that we all said, you're not walking on the same side of the street as us, you can stay over there, we don't want to be with you, we don't want to know you. Excuse me while I have a drink. So we said, we don't want to know you, and he insisted on wearing them, and I took a picture of it, and somehow or other his son got the picture, got to see the picture, and he used that as a Father's Day card. So, what else was there? Lavada said, how nice, I love your dress. I've got to make up the Lacala pattern. I bought a year or more ago. I may need this dress pattern too. Lacala, the thing I like about Lacala patterns is that they're to your own measurements. You can put in your own measurements. And the only adjustments that I sometimes have to make is shorten from my bust to here. I just have to shorten it by about 1/2 inch. Otherwise I end up with too much up here. This is a Lacala top. It's meant to have cuffs. Oh, it has got a cuff on. I didn't realise I'd put a cuff on. But it's got cuffs, and it's just it's what I've used with scrap busting. It was some fabric that I had last year, and I made it up. It has a longer bit at the back and a split there, and I just like it because I like something that covers my body. And you can wear, I've got short what do you call them, cotton pants just below my knee, and if I wore something short I'd look hideous in it, but the fact that I've got a long garment on, it tends to make you look less prominent at being fat or having your bulgy bit sticking out. So and I like Lacala. I just feel I like it because they do to my size. I like it because it prints out straight away. I like it because I can quickly tape it up. The other day I was cutting a pattern out from one of the big four, and it took forever. It was, what one was it? You might want to see what it is if I can find it. No, it's not here. I'll have to show you another time, because I've got about 4 patterns that I want to tell you about. It's just so easy to tape up, and you've got the whole thing that's just to your measurements. You haven't got to go picking all the different sizes and then finding that when you've put it together it doesn't look like anything that you want. It doesn't fit you, or there's too many adjustments. I'm absolutely boiling in here. Anyway, yes, it was FK said, that had me momentarily gasping in horror from 6:07 to 6:27 minutes. I thought you were still in the car. That cracked me up big time. It's the one where we went through the alleyway, and then we turned into this little winding path where there was a chair, and she must have thought we were still in the car, but we were actually walking into the reception area. And then Karina said, that castle looks like the place Hyacinth and Richard bought, that tiny apartment. It suddenly had me wondering. I remembered that, but I can't remember what the place was that she got. Those of you who, Karina's not, I don't think Karina's, you're in Mexico, aren't you, Karina? I'm sure you said you were in Mexico. But the Keeping Up Appearances is a very popular comedy from several years back. My mother loved it. It's called, what's it called? Keeping Up Appearances. And those of you who don't know Keeping Up Appearances, we just laugh at it. We think it's funny. Hyacinth Bucket, her real name is Bucket, but she doesn't like that. It's too common. So she calls herself Hyacinth Bouquet. Madam, sir, it is Hyacinth Bouquet, not Bucket. And of course, my mother used to, my mum didn't talk posh, but she, for some reason, every time I watched her, I used to think of my mother. And Hyacinth and her husband was henpecked. And Hyacinth was actually from a working class background. But she wanted to be better than everybody else, didn't she? And her sister was married to, what was he called? Onslow. Her sister was married to Onslow, who I believe was a bin man. He used to, our refuse man, and he always wore just a vest and his trousers and sometimes his braces. And she never liked them coming around to her house because she didn't want the neighbours to see what they were like. And they lived in a council house, and she didn't want them to see what, you know, what kind of, where they came from. And it's always, she's always getting herself into really bad situations. And I think the one about the apartment, she got on a horse. Somehow or other they were going to go horse riding in the country, and she'd never ridden a horse before. And she got on this horse, and the horse took off. And she's on this horse going out and panicking, and a helmet's going down. If you get a chance to watch Keeping Up Appearances, you really must watch it. If you get it in America, watch it, because it is so hilarious. And I can promise you quite a lot of people who do know of it will probably say, I love it. It's a good one. I'm looking forward to when I get very old. I used to say this to his lordship years ago when I was working. I used to say, I'm looking forward to when I'm really old, or when it's bitterly cold, and I can watch all the old Western movies again, all the black and white ones that I used to watch when I was 14 or 15 on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday matinee. I want to watch them all. I want to watch I want to watch Robert Mitchum. I want to watch John Wayne. I want to watch who was my favourite? Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas, I loved the dint to his chin. And I want to watch Catherine Hepburn. I thought she was lovely. There was, you know, I just wanted to watch all those, and I want to relive all these comedies. I have relived a lot of the comedies going to visit my mum and dad, because they used to often watch them on the afternoon TV. But there's some great ones, and when it's horrible weather and you don't want to go out and you're fed up, I want to be watching those kind of things. Anyway, what's the next thing I want to tell you about? What is a very happy birthday to you from Kathy Williams. Thank you for taking us along on a very posh experience. Such a thoughtful gift from your daughter and her family. You and his lordship make a fine couple. Your dress is beautiful. I must get back into caring about such things after the past 2 years. I hear what you say, Kathy, because it's taken me a while to start making things, and I just thought, oh, is it worth it? You know, we're going to be stuck indoors. And then COVID came again, and it's happening round us. My son says his school's got loads of COVID. My daughter's the only one in her family that hasn't had a second bout of it. Where she works in the doctor's surgery, she reckons everybody's had COVID, even the doctors have been off. It's rife, this new COVID that's come out, that's taken over, let's say. And you think, oh, is it worth sure bother going out? You know, but I do try to get dressed up if I'm going out, and just to make me feel. The reason why I get dressed up, if I'm going to the shops, not that we go to the shops very often, but if we go for a coffee somewhere, I just think it'd be nice to get dressed up instead of just sitting going in my jeans and things. So yes, I do like to put the odd dress on. That was all on that one, I think. And then the previous one, which was stash busting, I got 33 messages for, and I don't think I've answered anybody. Lisa Ann Spencer, newly subscribed from Friday Sews. Hi Lisa, lovely to hear from you, because she's a newbie. Lisa said, I'm newly subscribed from Friday Sews. Now, Friday Sews, isn't that Anna? So did Anna tell you about me, or is it that you do another Friday Sews? I'm not sure. I did go to look, and I think it's Anna. So, or maybe you know Anna, and I haven't had a chance to watch Anna's vlogs lately. I usually like to have a little dip in and see what because she makes some lovely things. So, welcome, Lisa. Lovely to hear from you. Then Yvonne Jenkins, Micheline, you've cheered me up no end today. I like all your makes from your stash, and especially the spotty jumpsuit. I think you should wear that out in the front garden. It's smart and ideal for all kinds of outside jobs, and even going on a cruise. On one of my little cruises to the cafe, yeah, I could do. So, yeah, I could wear that. I could wear it for the cafe, going to the cafe for a coffee on one of our cruises. Laura Jones had said, love all your La Belladonna tops. It's a great pattern. I like the scarf too. Nice to see the UK beaches are so different from those in Florida. Always enjoy your chats and the chuckles. Thanks, Michu. When I was married in a previous relationship, I went to Durham University to train to teach, and so did he. And my mother got us a little room above a chip shop while we were there at first she got us this room above a chip shop, and it smelt of chips. It was an old lady who ran it, and it was she was ever so nice. Nothing wrong with the old lady, and her son lived elsewhere. He said he lived in a bungalow, and she said that every weekend she used to go and join him in this bungalow. But the chip shop she lived behind the chip shop, and we had the room upstairs. And the room upstairs had no water. We had to go, I think we had to go downstairs to the toilet, but we had to fill a jug up with water and wash our faces in a bowl in the spare bedroom. And she had a Dalmatian dog called Beulah that barked so loud it scared the living daylights out of you. It was whoa! And I love dogs, but it frightened the living daylights out of us. And one weekend she went off to stop with her son, and she said, "Don't worry about Beulah, he'll be fine. Just make yourself a coffee and whatever, and then when you get off," because we used to go back up home to Northumberland on the weekend. But we got up this particular morning, and this dog was stood astride at the top stair looking at us. And I'm going, "Go downstairs, Beulah, go downstairs, go on, downstairs, downstairs," and it wouldn't go. And eventually it moved, and I was terrified of it. And when I went down, she had a little pantry, what she called a little pantry, where the kettle was boiled, where you boiled the kettle. And there was a toaster, I think, and a little sink. And when I went into that pantry, because she wasn't there were all these slugs going up the wall of the pantry, and I went, "Oh my God, I don't want to stay here." And then it stank of chips when the chip shop was open. So I said to my mum, she was saying, "What's it like, this place?" And I'm going, "It's horrible." I said, "It stinks of chips." I said, "There's slugs going up the wall in the pantry." And she said, "Oh God, we can't have you staying there." So the next thing I knew, she said, "I've got you a council house in Peterlee," which was a new house, a new town. It was called a new town then. And so we got this council house in Peterlee. And then a little later, once we'd qualified, we then changed to a council house in Washington, because we both got jobs teaching in high schools close to Newcastle. His was in Durham and mine was in Newcastle, south of the Tyne in Blaydon. So my mother I don't know how she did it. She was always organising. I never had the time, I couldn't be bothered. But she'd say, "I've got you this house in Washington." It was a masonette, a house on top of a house. And it was lovely. I liked it. I mean, it was just a council house, but it was very nice. But the one thing, I've kind of digressed, because in all the time that I'd been in Durham then, and in the 20 years I've been in Durham now, I've never been to the beaches in Durham. And I think there are some. I don't know where, I do know where they are. And I said to his lordship, the other day I said to his lordship, we really have to go and have a look at some of these beaches, and we should see what they're like. So we might just take you on a trip round the beaches in Durham County. I don't think they're as nice as the beaches up in where I come from, in the next county up, but we'll let you see what it's like. We'll take you on a little jolly. Now then, a house in North Carolina. Hi, house in North Carolina. Oh, it's Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne. She was saying, "I'm still smiling. The dancing is entertaining." Well, I found a little thing on my phone camera that speeds you up, but kind of does slow motion. It's a what's it called? It's called time lapse. And so I tried this time lapse, and what it is, if I'm doing this, doing my dancing, it kind of takes little snips of it and puts it together, and it looks a lot more, let's say it looks a lot more normal than you see me doing this all the time. So yes, and I quite liked it. I thought, oh, that's quite good. It actually doesn't look too bad. But having said that, I've been going to Swing Fit with Sheila across the road, and we've got to do that kind of thing where you're doing that, and then what's the other thing? Oh, you're dancing and going around like that, and then back, and then doing this. Anyway, Renee has written again. Hi Renee, it's lovely to hear from you again. She does send me some lovely emails. Micheline, the purple tops look beautiful. Well, that purple one was your fabric, and so I was really impressed by it. The purple tops look beautiful on you, and the drape is lovely. I have to agree, it's a polyester, and I do love polyester. The only thing I've got to be careful of is, and I don't know if it's if it happens for you lot in America, but when it's hot I don't feel comfortable in polyester, so I prefer to wear the polyesters in the autumn when it's getting colder. It keeps me warm, but I find that with it being a man-made fibre, any man-made fibres in the summer, in fact I put a top on yesterday and I just had to take it off because I was just absolutely lathered. It was making me really hot and bothered, so then I had to put a cotton top on. Oh yeah, the red racing stripe in front, so nice. The red racing stripe in front, so nice. I can't remember what the red racing stripe is. Oh, that was on the stripy one, wasn't it? The stripy one with the red racing stripe. Yeah. I'm slow. Didn't know you are quite the dancer too. Well, I'm not really, but it was, you know, I was having a go. So beautiful in your country. I've been watching all the states there on July TV, which shows couples moving out of the big cities and into the country. They're just beautiful. Miles and miles of green rolling hills and a few trees, all so nice. And I can't believe how reasonable the prices are. We are getting a lot, since lockdown I think has made a lot of people realise that they want to get out of the big city. Some are enjoying being out of there, and other ones are wanting to get back in again because they find the countryside too quiet and boring for them. But we are noticing more southern accents from here. And to be fair, I mean, they could sell the house down in London for £1 million, and they could buy one up here for 300,000, 2 or 300,000, a big detached one, and get themselves 2 cars, get themselves a part-time job, and still have money in the account, which is good in some ways, but it's actually making the house prices rise in our area. And there's a lot of people are buying holiday homes, and sad to say, these holiday homes are kicking people who would normally be in the village, who've been a long time in the village, are finding they're being priced out of the area. For example, the little village, the seaside village my dad lives in, used to be all fishermen in the bottom rows. They were all fishermen, and they've all moved out. Originally they probably moved out into the next village where the new houses were being built, and the people who bought their houses have now turned them into holiday homes and knocked the roofs out to have views of the sea and everything, and obviously that's upped the price. And the people who were in the village, even if they wanted to come back in the village, they couldn't afford it. So sad to say, the prices are going up. Amble, where we'll be going to in a few weeks' time, that used to be full of my school friends, and when they said they came from Amble, we used to say, oh, it's a bit of a dive, that place, Amble, but it's now the in place to go on holiday. So it's, you know, it's taking off. And she goes on to say, Renee goes on to say, I live near San Francisco. No, sorry. I can't believe how reasonable the prices of the homes they show for sale compared to California. I live near San Francisco, which are some of the highest in the US. The ocean's beaches look so very inviting. Are the waters cold? Yes, they are cold, but by our standards, they're warm. My daughter now lives 300 miles south of where we live, and when she comes home she goes, oh, it's cold up here, Mum, it's cold. But we're used to it, you see. So for us it's not cold, and when we paddle in the sea it's not cold. But to if you came, you'd probably say, flippin' heck, it's freezing. It's free. But the in thing in England, I don't know if you're part of it. There's this few people I watch on Instagram who do it. The in thing is for overweight ladies, or any ladies, not just overweight ones, for any ladies to have a morning dip in the sea. I think they just go as far as going into the sea and coming out because it's bitterly cold. And they have these special coats where they've got hot water bottles in their pockets, and they'll have a flask of tea, and they go out every day and go into the sea. No matter what the weather's like, they all go out into the sea. And apparently by doing that, some people have lost weight. There was a lady on the news from along in North Yorkshire on the coast there, and she was about 30 stone, and she's been going into the sea, and she's lost a lot of weight, because I think the shock of the cold actually stirs your body. It makes you, it burns your energy, and you just go into the sea, you dip. I think the skinny dip, I'm not sure if they go in with bathing costumes on or not, but they all go into the sea, and then they all come out. They have their coats with their hot water bottles and things, and their furry coats, and they get warmed up, and then they go home. And that's the in thing to do. And I don't know if, obviously in America the sea may be warmer there. The waters from the Gulf of Mexico touching Florida to Texas coast are warm, like bathtub temperatures. White sand is on the beaches of Florida only. I enjoy watching all your travels. White sand is on the beaches of Florida only. What we have noticed is it varies around the whole of the country. Northumberland, where we go to for our holidays, where we're going to within a few weeks, that's a lovely golden sand. Then Yorkshire, which is to the side of where we are, the coast there, it's part rocky, part dirty sand, what I call dirty sand. It's not dirty, but it's obviously the rocks, when the rocks break up, it's a darker sand. And then the further south you go, you've got sand again, and then you get down the south coast where that South Sea that I showed you, that was shingle, and it's like tiny little pebbles. And other parts of the south coast are bigger pebbles, and it's hard to walk on those beaches because they hurt your feet. And then round on the west side, I think there are some beaches on west side of Cornwall. There's beaches beaches in Wales, but there are some rocky coves where you go straight in Cornwall as well, where it just rocks right down to the sea. And where we went to in Allenby last year, that was a lovely beach, but it was darker. The sand was darker because it was coming down from the river, from the estuary. So there's all different beaches, but the one in Northumberland, I would say, is a really good one. Bamborough Beach. I was just telling Lorianne, who's just been doing a travel around England, and I said, you really must, next time you come, try and get to Northumberland, because there are 70, her husband likes archaeology, and there are 70 castles in Northumberland. Not all of them are great castles, some of them are ruins, and there's other big castles, little castles. But one of the biggest one is Bamborough Castle, and the beach at Bamborough Castle is absolutely spectacular. And Bamborough Castle has had 24 films. It's been the backdrop for 24 films, and the latest one was Indiana Jones. So when you watch the latest Indiana Jones, I'm not sure if it's out yet, Bamborough Castle is in Northumberland, and that's what you'll see. What else does Renee say? I relate to fixing up the house. We are in our home more than 30 years now. Wait until the weather cools to get sticky off. I think, well, we've decided that. We've tried painting. We've got half a room painted. We're gonna have, and the intention was we're going to do the whole house. And I just said to him, I said, I think we're going to have to wait until it cools down, September, October, before we do anything, because it's just absolutely unbearable trying to paint in hot weather. And what else does she say? It takes twice as much time to get half as much done as it used to. Yes. I get up with great intentions. I get up and I look at the pile of washing on the chest at the end of the drawer of the bed, and I say, we've got like an ottoman, a chair seat on the end of the bed, and it piles up, and I'll say, I must get those done, but I'll get my orders done first, and I'll go upstairs and do it. And of course I come downstairs, get my orders done, and then I think, oh, I'll do some sewing, and so that gets forgotten. Or I'll clean the conservatory, or I'll clean this, or the other day we got the rugs out and we started jet washing the rugs, you know. So there's always something else that takes over and forget to do it. What did she say? My mind is fast, but the message has not notified my body. Well said, Renee. I'm always thinking what I want to do, but my body can't move to do it. I hope it's true about our clothes and might be enjoyed by our grandkids, because I have tons of clothes, way too much. I wish they would wear them. Thanks for your channel. Well, I'm hoping that one day my kids will be able to do something, or even if they don't wear them, they might like the fabric and decide they want to. Because I'm hoping that they don't end up as being as big as me, but that they could maybe reutilise the fabric, because we don't know what's going to happen to fabric in years to come. Lavada said, I have a question. Oh, it was Lavada who asked about what a service is, so I've answered that question for you, Lavada. She said she liked the polka dot culottes and you could wear them in the garden, yes, for picking up small debris by a pickup device. Well, I've got one, Lavada. I bought one 2 or 3 years ago, and it's actually hanging in there, but I haven't got round to using it, but I should do. It'll help, and you can pick up a coin and you may pull a weed if the soil is wet enough. It's impossible to squat on your legs. I would need help getting up. Also, they have little sitting trolleys that you can scooter along and work sitting down. I find it interesting that you keep all your clothes. If I add something to my wardrobe, I usually pass something on to someone else or on a thrift store. I don't have enough room to store everything. Well, his lordship's just got rid of a lot of his stuff, which means I've got a bit more room in the wardrobe. I've actually got a wardrobe in the spare bedroom, which is really big, and then I've got my wardrobe in our bedroom, and he's got that much and I've got that much. And he's now emptied some of his drawers, so I've got drawers as well. But no, I think he's just cleared a lot of stuff out, and he's made me aware that I've got to do that. I've got to get rid of some things, and I probably will get rid of what I'll do is I'll look in the wardrobe. They do say, if you've never worn, I remember watching a program where they said, if you've never worn it for at least 2 years, you're never going to wear it. So bin it or get rid of it. The only thing is that I'm always worried that if I put it in the charity bag, it might just get thrown. You know, they don't always keep them all, and I am aware that you've got to have a size on them, because if you don't have a size on them, then they don't keep them. They just go in the recycle stash. And I have got some labels that I bought for that purpose. Where are they? Here. I bought some iron-on labels, and these are called Stuck on You. Are they called Stuck on? Yeah, Stuck on You. They're called Stuck on You, and these are little labels that they're peelable ones. And I figured what I'll do is I'll just get some labels, they're peelable ones, and you press them. You stick your label on a clean, dry, smooth and flat surface, rubbing firmly to ensure there's no air. Set the iron to a hot setting with no water in the iron. Place your label face up on the fabric and cover it with this greaseproof paper. And these are the labels. I've used 7 of them, but these are the labels. Let me stand up to see. And that says Micheline make size 16. So I figured that if I put those on the ones, and I really just do I don't use them for my own purpose, but I put them on anything that I put in the charity bag. I have been ironing those on. It's a kiddies type thing. I mean, what have I got? I've got a bunny rabbit there. A bunny rabbit. I've got sun and planets. I've got another bunny rabbit. A rocket. That's basic. Oh, I don't know what that is. What's that? A heart and a shooting star. Heart and a shooting star. But I just figured that if I got those, then I can iron them on, and then they might not be just chucked in the not what do you call recycling, where they shred everything and they make blankets and things out of them. So that is, those are called Stuck on You. www, I put the thing down below, but it says www.stuckonyou.biz, and I don't think they were very expensive, but I just figured that something like that might be handy when I'm recycling clothes. No, I'll put that up there because it was catching my drawer. I take large remnants and pieces and make a top by piecing in interesting ways. Yes, that's a really good way. I've just finished off that Lacala one where it's all pieces, and I've got the hem to do. In fact, it's here. This is it. It's a teal colour. That's all I'm going to say, and there's contrast. 3 fabrics, but it looks good. I'm just busy finishing off the vlog so you can enjoy watching that. What I should say. One kinky thing I do to save fabric, I take a large remnant and pieces and make a top, if I can, by piecing in interesting ways. I might wear it out, but usually wear it home. I've just done a vlog that you'll be in, the one that I did at 4 in the morning this morning because I couldn't sleep, and the item that I've made is made from scrap fabric. It's my scrap busting part 2, and I love it. I love what it's turned out like, so you'll be able to see that in the next few days. Fun for you to have so much fun with your stash. You might consider making his lordship matching underwear, or at least boxers if he wears them. You could let him know what apparel to wear which day. Just kidding, but still an idea. Stay well and happy. I could not get his lordship to wear what I wanted to wear. We went for some underpants the other week to Marks and Spencer's, and I'm looking at these lovely plain boxer ones with a nice elastic on the top with some writing on, and I was thinking, oh, I could make him a pair of that. And he immediately zooms in on the most hideous pair of underpants that you could, if you're looking along them, and I was actually looking at these ones and I was thinking, oh God, they're awful. They are awful. And then he zooms in on them. He says, I love them. I like them. And I'm thinking, oh, golly, no. And so he insists on getting them. And I'm going, can he not go for not that one, but that one? Because that one's a bit nicer. And so he like, they're lime green patterns or something. And they're hideous. And I said, if I'd seen you in a pair of shorts or pajamas or underpants like that in the first few months of me getting to know you, I'd have done a runner. And he said, what's the matter? Don't you like my choice of underpants? And I said, no, I don't. So I could not make him underpants. If I say go left, he goes right. If I say those are nice, he goes that way. Whatever I want him to do, he always does the opposite. I'm sure he does it on purpose. 8468 Ohio. Hi, I don't know who you are. Loved everything, dancing, music you makes, but that turquoise azure water at the beach was beautiful. Yes, it is lovely. I mean, that was the channel that connects 20 miles. There's 20 miles between us and France. And you go by ferry to France, and that water is absolutely lovely. The best azure blue is the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean's gorgeous because it's like an inland. It's only got a tiny opening between Gibraltar and Morocco, North Africa, but the rest of it's like a big inner sea basin, and it's lovely. There's not much tide, yes, it's generally safe swimming in there. Hazel, I got 3 kisses from Hazel. Hazel, I hope you are well. And when I saw the 3 kisses, I knew you were still around. But Hazel, you have, down your way on the news, you are getting terrible, terrible hot weather. So I hope you're managing to cope. My sister in France is saying it's unbearable. She said that they aren't allowed out from 10 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, and she said even the dog doesn't want to go out. She said it's so unbearably hot. and fingers crossed she's coming to join us in Amble this year, so I'm looking forward to that. James Brown, I love the jumpsuit. I think you should wear it gardening. You'll be just stylish. And that's Cheryl from Canada. Is your husband James Brown, or are you a James Brown fan? I used to be a James Brown fan. Nada Wilmhoff, with a lot of indie patterns you can access your purchases when you log in. Love Notions is one of those. I save all mine on my iPad also. Yes, I do know that I think for some reason I've got several patterns that when I first started buying patterns, for some reason I bought them, and then a few months later I went and bought the same ones again. And in fact, I went through my patterns the other week and I came across some that I didn't even know I bought. So I think I just went a bit mad when I first started sewing, when I got back into sewing and with all these indies. I'd never heard of indie patterns before that. Marjorie Bell, you were just what I needed today, Michu. I've got a rotten summer cold and was feeling a bit sorry for myself until I saw you pull out that pen. Oh, the one down my boobs. It's not there today, but I always keep them down there. Keep it down there, yeah. And then you reached on the other side to tell us that that's where you keep your cards, and I just howled. Well, you see, whenever I used to go down to my daughter's on the train down to London, I had to go down to King's Cross, then go from King's Cross across to Waterloo in the Underground, then go from Waterloo down to where she lives in Hazelmere, which is just north of Portsmouth. I was always dreading that I wouldn't find my train tickets, or you know, when the ticket man came. So the first thing I did before I even got in the car was I put them all down my bra, down there, and when this went so when the ticket man came, tickets please, I'd get them straight out, pull them out. They were in a cardboard. He wouldn't be having sweaty tickets, but they were inside a little folder. So I pulled the folder out and I knew they were there, and when I went in the Underground I just do that and the ticket's there. So I just found it was so much easier. And even if I had a coat, I'd find it easier putting it down my bra than putting it in the coat pocket. Seaside Mom said, a lot of fabric, you, Michu. That can't be. Well, yes, I have got a lot of fabric. Rose Vargas, you made my day. Your stories are so funny. I can identify with you. Getting old is hard work. Loved all your makes except for the jumper. Can't remember what the jumper was, but probably one that I didn't like either. The last outfit, Anne-Marie said, the last outfit's far too nice for gardening or just wearing before bed. Nice vlog, Michu. Greetings from New Zealand. Hi, Anne-Marie from New Zealand. Linda Van, I've gone on a bit long. I think I've gone on for God knows how long. Linda Van Ray, I laughed when he said about bending over in the garden. I know exactly how you feel. When I was 27 and had a nice 27-year-old figure, I was bent over pulling weeds in my mum's garden with my backside to the road. I thought it was far enough away that no one would see me, but a transport truck went by and he blew his horn 3 times. Now she said I've been delicious ever since, but I think she's been delirious ever since or something. Especially since I now have a 61-year-old body with nothing in the right place and too much of all of it. Last night my husband and I were planting cabbages in the garden. I could never have my rear facing the highway and told him about the truck horn. He said that it was better than having your blind fall out. I think probably your boobs. We've seen a bit more of our neighbours in that position. Well, yes, that's one of our neighbours does that. She bent over and you could see her knickers, and I'm thinking, oh my God. I looked down and my top neckline was hanging down loosely. If someone looked closely, they could see down to my belly button. And a truck had just gone down the gravel road beside us. I told my husband, and he said no one could see anything going on because he was going that fast. I'm sure they could. I guess turtlenecks are the way forward. And then New Creations now. Oh God, what's your name? You keep telling me. I can't remember your name now. Hey, get those jive moves. I like all your belladonna tops, and the scarf just puts the finishing touches to them. I might pinch that idea. Also the dungarees, I think you look lovely. How about shortening them? Shortening the legs to mid-calf. Maybe also add a belt would be great. Then for gardening, you might set a trend and everyone will want them. Thanks for a great video as usual. Hugs. Oh, it's Jean. That's Jean. Couldn't remember. Hi, Jean. Anyway, yes, I think I was debating whether I ought to shorten it a bit, so I might, you know, watch this space. I'm gonna have to maybe quickly hurry up. Kes44P. As you know, I love the Caladium jumpsuit. Yes, she does. My most worn is a patterned French terry blue denim marl with a large white pattern. Mine is below the knee. The others I've made just above the knee from jersey patterned fabrics. I make mine with V's on the front and the back, as I didn't like the square neck either. Yours looks beautifully made, but I think it's too long on you, which is making you feel like it's more nightwear. Might it be worth shortening 2 or 3 inches? With love from Wales, Kate. And yes, I think you're probably right, Kate. I might just shorten it and then I might feel a bit more comfortable about it. Sarah O'Donnell, my grandma kept her purse down her cleavage. Yeah, see, we're all in with the right people. Sula Platis, Micheline, you're the person everyone needs to know, always making us laugh, especially needed while recovering from COVID. Your outfits are really nice. Your last one's not sleepwear worthy. My eyes lit up when I saw it. Keep on trucking. Enjoy your day. Wendy Dober, oh, when you're dancing was a hoot. Loved it. You rock. I'm going to have to stop because it goes on and on and on. But I have read every single one of your messages. Fantastic people. Sue Knuckles, Janice Folks, Jane Mannon, Eileen Moore, Practical Stitches, Shari, Karina again, BB Beverly, all of you, Elaine Snyder, you've all written, and Heather Hirons from just in the next town. She's in the town that Rishi Sunak is an MP for. And, you know, all lovely comments. I just haven't had time to reply to you. And I think I've gone on way too long. But I thought I'd put some extra vlogs up just because some of you said you like watching them. And I'll bore the pants off you. But what else can you do when it's hot weather and you've been told you can't go outside? You can sit and listen to me rant on and rant on and rant on, with a little bit of a cameo from him and a little bit of a cameo from her. Can you see her? She's in there, fast asleep. Fast asleep. She's just not saying anything. So, you know what? You know the saying? You know what I say at the end? I'm going to love you and I'm going to leave you. And I'll catch you next time.